So the next screencast is about English Enlightenment philosophies. During the Age of Reason, or the Enlightenment, from about 1650 to 1800, was an important part of the development of democracy. Prior to that, there was the belief that you could best understand the study through the reflection of one's own mind. So it was a natural world. The Enlightenment established the idea that it's best understood through observation and reason, not through meditation and scripture. So this is that whole scientific approach versus just internal meditation or some arbitrary belief. And some of those political philosophers from that time talked about human behavior and how and the study of it through a science or through observation. And through that they developed these theories. The first theory from Thomas Hobbes from the early part of the Enlightenment period in 1651 in a document called the Leviathan, he described that in nature people are going to be in a constant state of conflict. In other words, they're going to be insecure because other people are, well, all people are selfish, greedy, and are looking to get ahead, even at the expense of other people. And we know that that's true. We know that people will rob and steal to take away something that they want from someone else. And that in order to protect yourself, Hobbes suggests that government is necessary so that you can have peace and security, because you're going to trade off some of your freedom to government in exchange for your protection. The next person who's going to build off of that philosophy is John Locke. So the first guy to think of it is Thomas Hobbes. He says that you need to have a social contract to give government power. The power comes from the people, and in exchange for the people giving the government the power, the government promises to protect and bring order to society. John Locke takes it a step further and says that you have to be able to have some control over government. And he rejects the idea of kings and queens and this notion that they get their power from God. He argues that government gets their power from the people, from the consent of the people. That's a true social contract, that people give up their rights to give government power, and the government has a responsibility to the people then to take care of it. And if that protection of life, liberty, and property is abused by the government, if the government starts to take too much power and hurts people, that it's the right of the person to rebel against that government. And that's going to be the basis of the Declaration of Independence that Thomas Jefferson writes down the road. Locke also says that this is a natural right. It's self-evident. It's inalienable. That a person's right to life, liberty, and property can't be taken away. And that if a government abuses its power and starts to take it away, you can rebel against it. He also suggests for the first time that you should divide the power within a government into different branches so that you don't have one part of government being too powerful. And finally, the English philosopher that we're going to talk about is a French philosopher, actually, whose name is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And he agrees with Locke that government needs to act for the good of the people, but he also says that in nature, just like Hobbes, there's this constant state of conflict and survival and protection of themselves. And Rousseau suggests then that since you're living in a society, that people need to contribute and participate in democracy to strengthen that society. So you're only going to be able to retain your freedom if you actually get involved in democracy and be enlightened and learn and be responsible civic citizens. And this is something that we do right now. That's why we're taking this class, so you can understand how this all works. So Rousseau writes a document called The Social Contract. And he also talks not only about people participating in government and being civic-minded and looking out for the best interests of the citizens, he also talks about the importance of the separation of religion and state. Church and state need to be separate. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about related to these different Enlightenment theories. But Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau all talk about this idea of the social contract and their observations about how it should work.